And we're going to begin with the Texas Education Freedom Accounts. It's the state's new program that gives taxpayer money for students to attend private schools this fall. The $1 billion program will be the largest of its kind in the U.S. Exactly who applied and who will be accepted into the program have always been the source of contention and debate. The Texas Comptroller's office, which is overseeing its development, announced a few days ago more than 274,000 students applied. Award notices will start being sent this month. Students must be enrolled in a private school by July 15th. And statistics show that nearly 30,000 applicants, or 12%, are in the first priority tier, which is low or middle income students with disabilities. Another 79,000, or 32%, are in the second priority tier, which is students in low-income families. The Comptroller's office says that means funding for the first year of the program will cover all of the first priority tier students and run out within the second priority tier. There's going to be a lottery to allocate the rest of the funding for students in the second priority tier, and then the state is going to set up a wait list order for the other applicants. Most students will receive $10,300, while disabled students can get up to $30,000, and homeschooled students will receive $2,000. Money is also available for school-related expenses. We spoke with Democratic State Representative John Bryant of Dallas, who has opposed the program from the start.
They did not tell us how many of these students are already in private schools. And the estimate given prior to the release of these numbers was that as many as 3/4 of these people are already in private schools. So it's a subsidy for people who are not in the public school system now and are seeking to help us subsidize their private school education. It's a serious policy question there. I'm very much opposed to these vouchers because they undermine public education. We're already way below the national average, and taking another $1 billion this year, it would be $2 billion if we were in a biennium, because we're in the second year of the biennium. If you fund everybody that applied for this, it'll take $6 billion for the next 2-year budget cycle. And we're only spending $23 billion at the present time from the state level. So you're talking about 25% of the money for public education for our 5.5 million public school students, instead going to people that are most of whom are already in private schools.
The state is saying that there are about 180,000 or so of those that are eligible. About 73% of the applicants were from low-income or middle-income families. About 30,000, or 12% of the applicants, were both from low-income and middle-income families, and these students have disabilities. And another 79,000, or 32% of the applicants, come from strictly low-income families. And when they add it up, they say the first priority tier, which is the disabled students, and then the second priority tier, the low-income students, the money's going to run out somewhere in that second priority tier. So what do you make of that?
When they tell us how many low-income students are included in the list of applicants, they're not telling us how many of them are already in private school. Obviously, that's the main question, because to the extent this program takes people out of the public school system, it undermines our entire public school structure. For every 10 students that leave the public schools, we lose one teacher. For every one teacher we lose another contributor to our teacher retirement system. It's a very bad program.
We also spoke with Republican State Representative Mitch Little of Louisville, who has supported the program.
It's very encouraging that there are that many people interested in the program. There's obviously a lot of pent-up demand. Part of me wonders if there had been more demand, if more Texans felt like the program was accessible to them. You know, the legislature set the bar for qualification based on income, and there's probably a lot of people who are interested in accessing the program, but they're probably going, the likelihood of getting into the program is low because I perhaps make too much money to be considered.
180,000 or so students are from low income or middle income families. nearly 30,000 or 12% of the applicants qualify for the first priority tier, which is low and middle income students with disabilities. And then 79,000 or 32% qualify for the second priority tier, and that was low income students. And so based on that, the Comptroller's office says they will be able to honor all of the people in the first priority tier, the students with disabilities, low and middle income families. And the money is going to run out in the second tier, where is the low income students. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, Jack, what I make of it is the program is kind of functioning as it's been designed. So the first question is, all right, the people who are in the first tier, these are families who have students with disabilities and they're at or below 500% of the federal poverty line. So $165,000 income for a family of four. They are interested in opting out of the public school system and going a different direction for their children. So these are people who would otherwise be essentially isolated to the public school system, and now they've got an opportunity to do something else. So that's exciting. It makes us beg the question, why are so many families with students with disabilities who are not wealthy, who don't currently have kids in private school, why are they looking for an off-ramp from the public school system, and what other choices might they make? And so first-tier students or first-tier families are being satisfied under the school choice system. The second tier, we're talking about families that they're within 200% of the federal poverty line. So a total family income of $66,000 for a family of four. So those families that otherwise would not have a chance to pull their kids out of the public school system and do something a little bit different now have an opportunity. So you wonder, Jack, what the 274 over 200,000 applicants family-wise to the school choice program, what are we going to do as a state with all that pent up and unsatisfied demand?